Hi, Kelly. How you doing? Okay. Losing my voice a little bit. I've been at this all day, so um, doing a lot of recording today. So let's go ahead and take a look. And excuse me if I'm a little hoarse. So let's go ahead and take a look. Excuse me. Okay. So first iteration, I added front. Good job adding the front. That's great. I mean, that's really awesome. I might request that the recommendations be changed or requirements be changed for this assignment to have it include the front. And to me, it makes sense to work on the back of the poster in assuring that you're in good harmony with the front. So thank you very much for including the front. Made a lot of the front of my a lot of changes to the front. So thank you for, of course, you're very welcome. Absolutely, don't even mention it. I created a timeline of the bones to create a unity in front of my poster. I'll talk about that. Placed the text on my timeline at an angle to create a relationship with the letter X, which has two angled lines. I want to see something. My my PDF is just acting so strangely. Actually, I've got this. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open this as a PDF. So let me just do that really quick. It'll be a lot easier to view. This will just take 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, let's go ahead and just save that guy. And that should download in 1 second. And there we go. So let's go ahead and open that guy up in Acrobat. Much better. Okay. Oh, yeah, much better. Yeah, much better rendering. Definitely. Okay. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty clever idea. I do. I think, but the only problem is we take a look at this X and the X-ray, the type is at a different angle. So that visual correspondence, that continuation isn't as solid as it could be. So you have one of two choices. Number one is to widen that X a little bit, or number two, to change the angle of the type. I'm perfectly okay. Right now, I think the back of the composition is the timeline is too dominant. I think it's stealing the show, definitely. So what I would recommend is dropping some of these down to 2 lines just to reduce. So we, instead of taking up almost half of the composition, we drop something like this. Uh, okay, wherever you want to put the break at drop line. So soft return right there, University of Zurich. So there you drop that down to the next line, like you've done here. But I would recommend that you align that with the E and Emerald, so the date, the year is set off by itself. Okay, so a lot of these you'll be dropping to the second line, but again, pull it right over to there. You've done it here, but I just think you could even maybe drop it to 3 lines or reduce the number of text. But I'd like to see the timeline really reduced so it's not such a prominent part of the composition. Let me go back to your writing. Where did that go? There it is. Sorry, I got so many windows open. I get a little confused. Okay, back to the writing. Uh, uh, okay, so the X, I talked about that. I'm going to separate squares if you were looking at it. I want to talk about that. Place my photo back. That's why a little glow into my photo whim. Tie back to the glow of the X-ray. I don't think it's working with black and white photo. I don't. I don't. I'll talk about that in a second. I'll give you a little tip, a little kind of a neat trick that you can try there. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look. Okay, so now the front of the poster I think looks good. This color, it doesn't look the same. It looks more muted, and it could be from that effect that you placed on it. So once you place the effect, what you could do is this. Take the bones, duplicate them, pull them over here on the side somewhere. Then go ahead and what I'm getting at is this. I don't know how you want to do this, but so you have the bones, right? You duplicate them, and then you take the original bones, put your effect on them, then put the original bones right back on top, so that the original color isn't affected by that filter or that ghosted kind of effect that you have there. Do you see what I'm saying? That'll work. We can see that ghosted effect here, which looks really, really good. But I would like to see it on all the bones, all the way through the timeline, instead of just these large kind of femur-looking bones. Okay, so let's see. All right, so So this and this are definitely indicative of that X. That is that configuration, and then that configuration make the X. That's pretty cool. I think that's interesting, but just kind of make sure that we have, again, this angle here is so much different than this angle here that I would almost really think about those angles. The viewer will catch on to that. I mean, if these angles are really close to the same, um, the viewer's going to catch on to that as continuation, and it's going to really make an impactful difference. Okay, let's talk about the front. The front looks great, looks great. Okay, I want to talk about the back. Now, this I think is overkill. I really do. I think that this is too fragmented. It works on the front, but that doesn't mean you have to take everything and move it to the back. I think a couple of things are being used too much here. This little bone here, I think that we don't need that. That's a little overkill. But I would pull this out of these individual boxes because they're just separating everything from each other, and it almost looks like three completely different topics. So I would remove that. You used it on the front. That doesn't mean you have to use it on the back. You've got the setup. It's beautiful. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, one thing that you could do here as opposed to trying this is this a neat little trick, and I'm going to share it with you. So this will help create some little bit of depth and some interesting kind of interesting relationships. But take this square right here, just duplicate the size of that square and set it in the blue color, right? Then add that ghosted effect, okay, then place it back behind here and kind of offset it a little bit, nudge it down into the right a little bit, or wherever you want the light source to come. This would make sense. Or maybe even see how it works coming from all sides. If you want to bring a little bit of dimension into it, just nudge it down into the right a little bit, add a little bit of 3D effect with that glow on it, see it if you like it. Otherwise, just place that square behind there, add that effect right there, and this image should be glowing. Okay, so let's jump in and look at individual. We'll call this a micro look at your typography. Okay, boy, you really want to use old style figures in your typesetting. It really separates a professional from an amateur. And portfolio reviewers and hiring professionals look for stuff like that. So I highly recommend, if you don't have, this typeface doesn't have OpenType capabilities, you can't access old style figures, just take your selection here and just reduce it by a couple of points. What you're shooting for is that the numbers kind of, you're not going to get centers or descenders like we see in old style, but at least this is going to be more in line with the X height of the body copy. So think about that. So think about reducing that so it doesn't look so, like you can look at this and the numbers, here's like, boom, there's a number, there's a number, there's a number, there's a number, there's a number. And it's because they stick out so much, right? Because they're so large. So think about that. If that's an alternative, and that's covered in week 4 announcement right here, down here, how to set all this. This is a great announcement. This is really a wonderful tutorial. One of the better announcements in the class, if I do say so myself. So go ahead and review that and take a look at that video, and you'll see. Okay, regs look pretty good. You got that angle there. You don't want to do that. What you could do here is I might have mentioned this already. I don't know. I've been at this so long, but you place your cursor right there and do a soft return. Meaning you just shift and shift return. Now you're in InDesign, right? So yeah, shift return and give a soft return. That should push this type. It may even fix the entire paragraph. If you want to send me the Adobe Adobe InDesign file, just attach it right here. I can do a demonstration here of how to do these regs. I asked Gloriana to do the same thing, so hopefully one of you will, so I can just do a quick demonstration. So these regs are definitely need adjustment right here. That's it's a really, really pretty severe angle right there. And then that's an angle right there, and then that's an angle right there. So we can reconfigure those regs. A lot of staggering going on, a lot of this thing going on. You don't want that. You definitely want to stagger, but something like this, less pronounced than this, See what I'm saying? Okay. Oh, the other thing I want to mention is we could use some typographic variety here, definitely. Yeah, old style right there. Old style, small caps right there. What's that caret right there in the PhD? That's unusual. I've never seen PhD presented like that, so check that. At any rate, typographic variety, maybe introduce a sans serif for the timeline. I think that would help. Now, as I was saying, something about the timeline itself. I think this is too small. These bones are too small. And they're not pronounced enough. I think that you can increase the stroke size, and I think that you can also increase the stroke size on these, or do what I said, duplicate and replace. But I think the stroke size here is a little too small. They're almost not recognizable as bones. And we can see that as we zoom out. And that's why I love PDF so much, is because we can see what it looks like at a distance. This is a poster. It should be seen at a distance. Everything should be visible at a distance. We can see as we back off a little bit, it's starting to disappear a little bit. We can't really tell those are bones. So I would definitely try to consider increasing the stroke size there and there. You could even get rid of some of these bones at the end and just make this whole thing a little bit bigger. I think that covers it. Yes. Oh, these lines right here. Yeah, again, these little slide lines, don't need them. I mean, it works here, but it's overkill over here. Okay, so those are my recommendations. Those are my comments. Let me know if I can clarify anything. Of course, you know the drill, right? I'm here. If you're working, I'm working. So if you want to make some changes, resubmit. That's great. If you want to go ahead and post the Adobe the InDesign file, I'll see what I can do with regs. Maybe set up a little quick demonstration video for you. All right, great job. Of course, the most important thing at this point, you know it, is ask me any questions, and do so quickly, because we're wrapping up quickly, aren't we? I love teaching typography. It's so cool. And you've probably noticed, I mean, we're watching our peers, and including yourself, and everyone in the class has become, everyone in this class, bar none, is a better designer than they were 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And so I love teaching typography, because you get to watch students grow right in front of your very eyes. It's so cool. Okay. Yeah. Any questions? Let me know. Great job. Thank you.